Hello everyone, welcome back to the Coding Explorer. This is Pradyumna and let us continue our exploration on the world of software together. This is a project class and not a learning class. So today we'll be creating a program and not learning anything more. So we'll be creating a stone paper scissor game. So we'll explore how to do it and not learn anything more, but we'll just use what all we have learned and we'll execute what we have already learned to be crystal clear on all those topics. So before we begin, I hope that you've watched my video on loops in Python because it is very important and all the concepts that we have learned before this video so that you understand everything that we're creating now. So we'll be creating a program that is similar to this, a stone paper scissor game. So it'll give the options of what are there. So we'll create a list containing stone paper scissor. So if you remember, I told how to show this in the form of an index. So we'll ask which item he selected. So it's 1. If so the user is click 1, the computer also chooses it randomly from the random library. I hope that you remember how we had done that. So we select a random number and then we check who wins. If we ask each time does he want to continue, how many he has to click how many ever times. So when he gives n, so it will end it and it will tell how many points they got, how many points the computer got, and who won the match. It will be just same like this. So let us begin. We'll come back to PyCharm. Let us create a new project. So I'll name it as stone paper scissor game, and then just create it. Okay, so now first what we do is we'll store a variable or a list that will contain all the options for the user. So I'll just name it as options is equal to list of stone paper and scissor. So you'll have these options. So each time we'll be displaying the user until he wants to play. So while true. So if you remember, we had learned about displaying these in indexes using iterating through this. So if you remember, we had to just for I in range of 3. So what we had to do is print I, you have to convert it to a string form, I plus dot plus, we have to give whatever is there in here. So options of I. So what happens here is it iterates through this. So we have to add 1 over here. So it becomes 1, 2, 3. So the user will get us 1 stone, 2 paper, 3 scissor. So what we'll ask the user, what do you select? I'll just name it as user select is equal to input of enter the number of selected item. You can give anything. So he has to just enter the number. So if it's 1, then he has to click on stone. If he wants stone, then he has to type 1, and if he wants paper, he types stone. So like that you have to print it. Now we are going to create checking that it checks automatically what the user has done, and we are also going to create something. We are going to import the random library. So this is used to select what the computer wants to select. So we'll just name it as comp select is equal to random. So you remember that in random you can generate random numbers. Random dot rand int, we are going to give it from 1 comma 4 because 4 will not be included. So you give random dot rand int 1 comma 4. So the computer has selected, user also has selected. So now we have to evaluate who wins. So we have to also make a variable that keeps check of the points. So I'll just u points is equal to 0. So at first it will be 0, comp points is equal to 0. Now we have to check it. So how do we check it is that we use if and elif, and if you remember I had taught you about logical operators, that is and or not. So we are going to check if both these conditions are same, and then we are going to do that. So how we do is u select is equal to. So what we are going to do is we are going to check all the combinations that are there and tell the computer what it how to select it. So if user has selected 1 and comp, that is the computer, has selected 2. So what it means is that u select is 1, that is the user has selected stone and the computer has selected paper. So if it's like that, then definitely the computer wins. So we just print the computer, or you can also put it over here itself. So you can give print the computer chose, so that the user knows what the computer has chosen. The computer chose, you need to leave a space, plus, so you just take options of whatever is the computer selected. So it gives whatever is the -1 because we are taking it from here. So after it gets selected, it tells what the computer has chosen. So we can just not show this. So if this if the computer chose paper, then it surely wins. So we say, so the computer wins. And then we have to also increase the the computer points plus is equal to 1. Then you're also going to create but we have to also create other combinations that are there. So let's just copy paste this and check how it goes about. So instead of if, we are going to create elif. So if u select is equal to 1 and comp select is equal to scissor, that is 3. So if it selects scissor, then the user wins. So we just say, so you win, and here the user u points increase. So you remember that to increment values you have to use plus is equal to 1. Now again let's copy paste this. So if we have tried all combinations with 1, now we'll just try out with 2. So if user has selected the paper and the computer has selected the stone, so you win. So again, because paper is more better than stone, so user has selected paper, so he wins. User points increases. Again we check if user has selected paper and if the computer has selected scissor. So it's the same thing. So here what happens is that paper is less than scissor, so the computer wins over here because computer has selected scissor. Computer wins, and this is comp point plus is equal to 1. We are excluding all the combinations where they are the same because we are going to create an else block in which we do that. So next we check if the user selected scissor 3 and the computer selected 1, which is stone. So here you can see that the scissor is less than stone and the computer has selected stone, so the computer wins again. Now again let us copy paste. So here also will be is equal to 3, and here we make this 2. So if the user has selected scissor and computer selected paper, then the computer doesn't win but the user, so you win. Here the user point increases. So we check all the combinations in which they are different, but when they are same we use the else block. So we need not code for that because again the whole thing will be the same. So we just say if they are excluding all these options, that is if they are the same thing, then we say print so it is a tie. And here instead of just giving no points, we are going to just give both of them the same point, is equal to 1 plus is equal to 1. So you can see that when the user if we go through these combinations, all of this is checked by the computer and evaluated, and it displays the result and also according to that gives points. So when the user selected stone and computer selected paper, the computer wins, and then when the user selected the stone and computer selected scissor, the user wins. Again it goes on combining all this, but when the user selected stone and the computer also selected stone, we just go to the else block because all these conditions do not match. If you remember, I told about and both these conditions have to be true, only then it will execute this. So when both of these conditions are true, only then will it execute it, and if all these are not true, it has to definitely be a tie. So it will say so it is a tie. So instead of creating a combination in which both of them are equal, so that u select is 1 and computer select is 1, and again u select is 2 and computer select is 2, we just create an else block in which all of this is the same, and because it will be a tie. Now after that we'll just ask the user if he wants to continue. Do not use the whole continue statement because it's a token in Python, so I've just given half of it. Input, do you want to continue? So instead of him typing yes or no, we just tell him that you need not give the whole thing, you just need to give y or n. So what we are going to do, if he gives in capital letters, we have to convert it to a lower form. That is, if he gives capital Y, then we'll just make it for small y, or if it's n, also it will just convert to yn form. So then if con is equal to n, so if the user has if the user doesn't want to continue, then you just break the loop. And after all this is done, after the user has played and all this, we can just say the how many points each of them got. So you remember that we had created this points and it kept increasing wherever it is there. So we just say print you got plus string of u points plus points. So it is you got how many points, like if you got 3 points, you got 3 points. And then again print the computer got plus string of, so we have to convert it always into a string form or else it will show an error, com points plus points. So if the user and the computer, we just tell how many points. So then we can also tell who won again after all this is done. So if u points is greater than com points, that is if the user has won, print so you win the match. But if it's the whole inverse, we are going to use an elif instead of else, because if they are equal to each other, then we are going to show that in the else block. So we just take this. Here we have to change the symbol, because if the user gets lesser points than the computer, then print so the computer wins the match. Again we can also use the else block, because if we have to tell if it's a tie, so it is a tie. So after all this is done, and when the user selects that he doesn't want to play, this will be executed, or else it will not be shown, because this while loop will be going on. So let us just run and check how it works. So it is showing whatever is there. Enter the number of the selected item. I'll just do the computer chose scissor, so it is a tie. So you see it's an error. So what we have to do is we have to convert this into an integer form, because or else it will go to the else block and not work. And here also, instead of 1,4, it should be 1,3, because this is also included. So let's run it. I'll give 1. The computer chose stone, so it's a tie again. So I'll give 3. Sorry, here I should give 3. So the computer chose paper, I chose scissor, so the computer chose paper, so I win. Again I give so I'll give yes. Stone, the computer also chose stone, so y. Enter the number, I'll give 2, so it's a tie again. So I win. Again I'll give y. Now the computer wins, because I chose paper and the computer chose scissor. So here you can see that even if I don't give y, it's working, because we are checking for n, and whatever is not there, if it's not related to it's not n, then it will just not break the loop. So I give 1 again. So the computer wins. Now I don't want to play more, I'll just give n. So I got 7 points, the computer got 7 points, so it's a tie. So I hope that you understood how to do this. This is very easy. If you go through the program, you'll just understand it. It's just how we use and ifs, and how we use the loops. If you have any doubt, you can put it in the comment section. Before you leave, let me tell you that all the code we did today about the project is put up in the GitHub. So I've provided to this link in the description. So if you go to Stone Paper Scissor game, you can find the code that we did today. So if you have any doubt, you can also refer to it from here. So let us continue. Today I'll not be giving you any homework because this is just a project class. So let me tell you a very important nice fact about Stone Paper Scissor. Stone Paper Scissor was played since the Han Dynasty, who ruled China from 202 BC till 220 AD, because that is why it is said that Stone Paper Scissor came from China, and the probability of you winning a game in 33.33%, because there's only 3 combinations that are there. So thank you everyone. Please learn, like, subscribe and share. Please click on the bell button to receive my next videos, and if you have any doubts, put it in the comments below. I'll try to respond as quickly as possible. We'll continue in the next class about dictionaries in Python. Thank you.